hello, darling, and welcome to the Just Jax podcast. Hi, I'm Jax, and I help you find the can in your cat. When we challenge our cats, miracles happen, because when I challenge mine of I can't draw, I can't paint, and I can't color, imagine my surprise when I discovered what I can do is create a 21-foot garden mural that was recently featured not once but twice on the front page of our local newspaper. Next up, I challenge the I'm no author, no artist, and no cursive writing specialist, but what I can do is self-publish 3 books for my kick-ass cursive writing curriculum, Crack the Cursive Code. I'm a jack of all trades, but what I master in is helping ordinary people like me to do extraordinary things through laughter, tears, life-changing stories, because metaphors are my jam. Together we can find the can in your can'ts, the do's in your don'ts, and the wills in your won'ts. I'm so excited for you. Let's go. Well, hello, my darlings, and welcome back to the Just Jax podcast. And today I have a full circle moment story to tell you, a humdinger one of that. I have been dabbling in a bunch of different things. I might have mentioned it in my podcast episode, The Healing Modality Salad, where I've dabbled in such things as human design. And if none of you have ever heard of human design, it is I always introduce it to people as astrology on steroids. I know there is a lot of fluff in astrology, and being a Virgo myself, I have never ever identified with the Virgo personality in regards to how they have lists and they're organized, and I live in a very chaotic life with a lack of routine on a good day. And so I have never resonated with the Virgo mindset or box that society has put Virgos in. And human design takes that into a much deeper level. I asked ChatGPT to give me a description that would be the easiest way for people to understand what human design is. Human design is basically a blueprint for your energy system. It shows how you move through the world, how you make choices, and how your energy interacts with others before life piles on conditioning and expectations. It blends 3 main systems: astrology, the I Ching, and the chakra system. Astrology brings the timing, where the planets sat when you arrived, and how that mix shapes your natural vibe and direction. The I Ching, an ancient Chinese text with 64 hexagrams, which turn into the 64 gates in human design. Each gate carries a specific theme like creativity, intuition, leadership, and focus, and those gates map the flavors of your personal expression. Then we have the chakra system, which tracks energy through the body. In human design, there are 9 centers instead of the basic 7. Each center represents a zone of energy, for example, communication, emotion, instinct, or drive, and those show how the energy flows. We'll stop there for now to give you an idea of all of this information. And I've been fascinated with that because it claims that if you follow along with this blueprint on how you're to act in the world and respond to your environment, that you will get what you want in life, and you'll be able to express yourself and be authentically yourself. And that's basically what my goal is, to really learn how I was designed to be without any of my outside conditioning and expectations. So, human design is one of those things that I have been on and off interested in. I have emails that come to me for people that I've signed up for their newsletter and rarely open. And it has been way off my radar until recently, where a dear friend that I visited with while I was in Calgary wanted to know how I am feeling and vibing. from I just feel differently towards being back home, and now my mission is to spend more time there. It's time now that I can spend time there to enjoy the people and to just add to my life, because that's what I want my life to be now, where things add to it. No more substitutions and no more discounts. Everything that comes in is an addition, that it's happy chaos instead of having something take away or destroy. And in the process of that, if it does happen, it's because it's necessary to build something bigger and better. So happy chaos is what I'm asking for. And when I was talking to my friend, I mentioned to her that she could go see Brenda Johnston, the one that I'd seen in the past, when Brenda was talking to her about human design. And my friend was kind of confused because I never mentioned human design before to her. And it's because it basically was like one of my favorite pots that I use. But unless I use that specific dish, I rarely use that pot. It was one of those things that really interested me, but it kind of was on the back burner. I'd done a little bit of depth into it, but I never really had a burning desire to get deeper. There's a course actually that I saw that had more of a deep dive, and I thought, ooh, that might be interesting too. But if I pay more money for a course that's just going to sit in my inbox, I'm done with that. I really just want to have courses that I can utilize and make me go forward. When my friend told me that Brenda was getting into human design, I found that rather conflicting for me. For I would want my friend, if she wanted to have someone with her human design, I had a couple people that I've always wanted. I have a tarot reader that I want her to read me, and I also had a human design person that I wanted to have read me. And no disrespect to Brenda, but I wanted to go in a different direction. And in perfect Jack style, I am sitting on Sunday morning, fully dressed, waiting for my husband to get ready so that we could go out. And I'm sitting on TikTok. I absolutely love TikTok. TikTok feeds my soul. There's a lot of great things on there that just inspire me. Also inspire me to spend my money, but all of those things are there to make me a better person and a healthier individual. There are very few videos I have on there because I am still stumbling with video, but that will change. And until then, right now I just am a partaker. I absorb. In the absorption process at the moment, helping me redefine the goo of my butterfly phase because I just finished the caterpillar phase. Loved the caterpillar, had a great time, great views. But now it's time to fly, and I'm still in the goo stage, learning how to make my wings do what it needs to do and form to fly. And on came my human design person, the one when you see her talk about it, she just lights up because she never gets tired of saying the same thing. And I witnessed that, and she says it with the same enthusiasm for the people. And she was offering mini readings. And usually when you get into TikTok, there are so many people on there live. If you're unfamiliar with the app, there is a live where there's a chat that you can communicate, and that chat can be very disjointed in regards to how the person responds because of how many people are on the live. Like if it dumps 50 comments at the same time, if you're one of those 50, it could be difficult for the person doing the live to catch all the comments. Where luckily at this time, as I say, luckily, it's in perfect Jack's style and timing, where I'm the type of person where everything works out for me. There were only two people ahead of me and to get a mini reading, and I really needed to practice asking for what I wanted. So I went to my husband and told him I have an opportunity to get a reading. Take your time. I'll need an extra 10 to 15 minutes. I went and sat down, and the most amazing thing happened. And I just really want to give myself a kick in the ass when these things happen, that I recognize the magic that I have to create what I want and really use it for I'm the type of person that can make magic happen. And I'm the type of person that can give me what I want. And I, she looks right into the camera, and she looks right, like it seems like she's looking right at me. If she knew my name, it almost she'd say it. She goes, I have no idea why I'm saying this, but if you book a mini reading right now, I'm going to take $200 off my readings, and you can have a personal reading with me. And I'm like, that is, I have decided now that my money is going to something to fuel what I want. And if something that I have always wanted comes up, then I am to take the money and say, be thankful and wish granted, and on we go. And so I went, okay, that was for me. I was to have my reading. I sent her an email right away. She responded, and I wanted to have the reading as soon as possible, for I had a feeling that there was something coming that I needed that information for, and boy was I right. The timing was absolutely perfect, and I'm going to go into that after we go into my reading. So some of these things are going to be a little confusing to speak and such, but I will do my best to explain them to you. Okay. There are 4 different types in human design, and there's a 5th that is a hybrid between 1 and 2. 1 manifester, and number 2 is a generator, and I am one of those hybrids. I'm a manifesting generator, and that means that I run on gut fire. Your work in this life is to follow what lights you up and drop what drains you. There was something about this reading with her, and I'm going to let you know. Her name is Nadia Quinn, Quinn, and she is just a fabulous reader. And when she was telling me all of this, she was explaining it to me in a way that I really understood. And it was like someone was giving me permission to be myself. Now, is that her line of work? Does she feel that she's going to do something like that? Absolutely not. But the message that came from her was that I was on the right track. Jax, you have finally stepped into your world of what you are going to be doing, and it's time now to just do it. And so there were confirmations upon confirmations upon confirmations that gave me that I was supposed to be this way, and in areas that I have felt shame and bitterness towards myself. It allowed me to free me about those things. And if that can do that for you in what you discover, and human design did this for me, because she was very clear that my path will never follow a straight line. I jump, sample, build, leave, return, remix. This is correct for me. Zero shame. You will never finish what you start. The project served its purpose. If it lit you up for a while, you can move on. Do you know how many things that I have sat and shamed myself over, because you see these people that have all these books they read from cover to cover, and they can regurgitate all this information to people, and I feel like a skipping rock, a jacks of all trades. All I want to do is get in and get out. And it was very much like my births. We're doing this, we're getting in and we're getting out. Like, I just want this over with and done, and I'm going to do it in the way that I want to do it. And it's fascinating because I have never seen that as a strength or something that I was allowed to be, because there are a lot of people that have judged me because, oh, she's doing something again. Look at her go. Oh, yeah, Jackson never finishes what she starts. And this also gives me an idea too, that I have to be mindful. If that I take on a project, I need to be able to assess what level of this project am I going to do, because I want to finish the projects that I start, but I also have to make sure that now that I understand this part about myself, that I pick things that I'm willing to take to the end and finish what I start, that I give myself I'm the type of person that sets myself up for success by making sure that they are projects that I can finish and that I start, so that I allow myself that little bit of success and shame guard, like a Teflon against my heart for the shame, so it just flies right off, because I am finishing projects. The big ones that excite me, I need to put them into bite-sized ones that I can still be excited about and finish, so that it becomes a bigger picture and completed. Second, I am single definition, which I just had my mind blown, for I only thought there were 3 different types, but there are 5 different types of definition, and I am single. Okay. All your defined centers talk to each other with no breaks in the circuit. And what that means is that there are the 9 different centers, and some of them are colored or filled in, and those mean that they're defined. And some of them are open or clear, which means that they have no color whatsoever. That's where you can see how many different combinations there are on all of these. And it's very important to understand the difference between if one of your centers is colored in or one of your centers has no color, because if they're colored in, these ones carry steady energy like an inner radio signal you always broadcast. You express that part of yourself with consistency, and people feel it when they're near you. So this is something where you have this essence where you know who you are at all times, and this real steady beat within yourself. That these centers are the ones that are all colored in. And then the other ones that are open or undefined, they act like antennas, which means that you can pick up energy from people all around you. So this is where it may give you an idea of what an empath would be, a definition in my mind, where you're picking up energy from around you. And those centers also teach you through experience. That's where empathy grows, where wisdom develops, and where you learn the most about what belongs to you and what you absorb from others. Because the center is open, you can experience a very wide spectrum of what that what that center is, and then you have to really learn to define what how you are. And you can pick up a lot of people's garbage in those areas. It's almost like the closed centers. You can have your own definition of what that is in your life, and you can be very closed about it in regards to what it is, which is good or bad, right? Because if you're closed about something where it's hurting you, it's it's a problem as well. And whereas when the centers that you're more open to ideas in regards to what other people think. But that also means that you can be easily controlled by what other people think in those areas. And that's where, for me, she brought to my attention what 3 areas that were open and how I was supposed to live those 3 areas. But in regards to the single definition, she says that's really cool that I have that, because all my closed or colored in areas can talk to each other without any breaks in the circuit, which means that I self process. You can run your emotions, thoughts, stories, and come out the other side without needing someone else to connect the dots for you. And that is so fucking true, man. If that has been something within myself that I have understood that I could do, that's the whole purpose of this podcast, is exactly that. Something comes up, I get this emotional reaction to it, I sit and think about it for a bit, and then I process it and come out the other side. It's like I take the shit that's given to me and I process it, turn it into fertilizer, and look for the sometimes the corn or the valuables or whatever, but I take it and I create something else so that I can bloom from it. And I never realized that that was something that was part of my chart. And I think you could think that's something that's coincidental, but seriously, this is cool as fuck. And then she goes, you can then it summarized that you can sit alone, feel it all, and stabilize. And that is true, which it's a perfect segue into the next. Next part comes authorities. And when they're talking about authorities, how an authority works, there are 7 different types in human design, but how an authority works, it's your unique built-in guide for making correct and authentic decisions. And it's a process that is physical intuitive. There's no logic and based in it. So, my authority is emotional, which means my emotions are the strongest center in my chart that I lead with feeling. The biggest piece of advice is that I must ride the full wave before making big decisions. Feel the high, feel the crash, then act. And I have to tell you, that my rash decisions based on a curve in the emotion has really, really bit me in the ass. And when I saw that I was supposed to ride the wave and make sure that I have taken basically all the emotions in play and make a decision on that and never in an emotional state make such decisions, it really, really spoke to me on how my life just went through a little panoramic, went right through in my mind. All these pictures just flashed through of how my rash decisions in emotional times has made chaotic experiences for me. Have I learned from those experiences? Yes. Was it necessary to make to kill a mouse with an elephant gun? No. I am learning now that with this emotional authority to take some time and let it all play out, because then when you feel all the emotions, then you can come from a position of strength in my mind, and that's exactly what happened. I practiced all of these in a situation with my work, and we're going to tie all this into that story in just a minute, but we're going to go through the chart first so you understand what I mean there. And then the voice was the manifester of power. It says your words call reality in, you speak to existence. I i never allowed my voice to be heard for what I had wanted, and here I'm wondering why my life is the way it is in certain aspects. I want my relationship to be better. I want my finances to be better. I want my life to upscale and change and shift and give me more. I would like to have more travel. I'd like to spend more time with my family. All these things that I want to do, but I never voiced ever what I wanted and expected people or the universe to be mind readers to a degree, which this really gave me a 2x4 to the forehead and stated that I need to speak to people. And this fifth one was a killer for me. I need to inform people. I need to inform them that they need to be responding to the decision instead of my going behind their back, forgiveness instead of permission. And I have been a forgiveness instead of permission person for a long time. And I'm realizing now that that could have contributed to some of one of the reasons I got fired from a job, because she thought I was out to get her and doing things and behind her back. And realizing now that if I would have followed this and informed her, I wonder if that would have turned very differently. My design wants me to say out loud before I do a thing, here's what I'm doing, here's what I want, and here's what I'm changing. And I put that into practice with this, with my job, on what I wanted to do. And I'm going to tell you that in a story in just a minute here. Your mind is nonstop and powerful. Your thinking center and your throat are directly connected. You have the storyteller channel. And I'm like, holy fuck balls. One of the things I've always wanted to do was just make money being me. And one of the things I love to do is tell stories and metaphors and such. And it says you take concepts, flip them into language, and then deliver them in a way that people feel in their body. This is a signature gift. Holding it in hurts you and keeps you small. Sharing it out loud is the job. And then I said my health, and then I need to communicate openly with feeling. And I've been holding back a little bit with you guys. I'm sorry to say I was nervous about really unleashing and just being a manifester and just telling the story in a lot bigger and bolder way, as if you were sitting right there, and I was very excited to do that. And I want to apologize to you because I I need to pump up the volume. Well, maybe watch the volume since I am quite a loud individual. But she said that your health depends on being heard. I need an audience, and even one person will do. And that is true because when I'm telling a story to someone and I see that it helps them in some way, it feeds my soul. And it never matters what time of day it is or what I'm doing or how tired I am. I have always fuel for telling a story that would help someone. And it says, my clear my system by telling the story, saying the feeling, crying if I need to cry, laughing out loud, all of it. And it says right here, if I mute myself, I'll get sick. And if I share, I glow. And it is true since I have started my podcast. Shout out to Brenda Johnson for getting me on this path in the first place. And then Jen Dragonette for being my anchor. And when I've been sailing these seas of insecurity. And it just went into different things about my gift is my radical openness. And it talks about my 3 open centers. Your design wants you living as I am fearless. My 3 centers that are open are my heart, my spleen, and my root. The heart is open, which means that I am very easily impacted by validation or lack thereof, or acceptance and lack thereof. And when she said that, my mind and this door like unlocked in my brain, and it made sense because the most damaging relationships I've had in my life that have crippled me the most are the ones that I made a bond with over acceptance. One is my mom, and the other one is a guy that I felt he accepted me in the areas that I needed the most acceptance in, and I betrayed myself and my friend, and I hurt my kids all because of acceptance. It's unbelievable how much power this center held over me when I understood that I need to realize that my acceptance comes from within, and that I glean the acceptance from people that help me grow and are good for me. And the rest of it is basically no, thank you. This journey that I've been on, that I have been really focusing on what has lit me up and what has made me feel good about myself and validating myself and finding my own, that, you know what, I am who I am and I'm pretty kick ass at a lot of things, and built all my cans and all my I'm the type of person statements. And the snow is now starting to make a blanket on the ground where you're no longer seeing or feeling the dirty stuff, and it's now becoming a very clean landscape. And I feel good about that. The snow is starting to stick. And every time I'm doing these small little things, they finally, after doing all of this stuff and the snowflakes that they have created, it is now finally sticking. And so that is what this reading did for me. It just gave me a confirmation that I have been going on the right direction for me. And this open heart where I have to have I have less fucks to give in regards to what's happening with people thinking of me, that the more I live authentically myself, I am always being of service to someone because of my radical openness and the way I see the world and how I think and my mind. It another part of it says here that I disarm people continuously with who I am as a person, and that has been it has been so true. And I'm just so thankful for Nadia and what she gave me in this reading. I'll tag her in my show notes and stuff so that you can explore getting a reading with her on your own. But it just gave me the permission that I can live without giving a fuck. And in the ways that, as when I am in my path of where I'm being authentically myself and what lights me up, it's no one's business, or I need no one's permission. I just need to do what is best for me. And I know it may appear selfish to some, and I get that, but this is where it's just, I need to find what lights me up and be able to do that. second center is the spleen, and the spleen is about fear and everybody else's philosophies on how I'm to live. And there are so many different stories that I have, and one's coming up in my book that I'm writing on I'm the type of person, and that I'm hoping is going to be out for Christmas so that everyone can get it to start the new year. But I'm telling a story about how I have lived fearlessly. And I never realized before until writing this book that I have lived a fearless life. My mural is, I just dove in like the fool on the tarot card. I just dove off the cliff and did it. My cursive writing curriculum, I dove off the cliff. My three different forthwith, loser, and shift merchandise logos and such. I just dove off the cliff and created these things and put them out there into the world to enjoy and be of service. And when I do that, when I live fearlessly, when I just go for it and create, there is magic that happens. And I got permission, I suppose, that is how I'm supposed to live according to this chart. And there were just so many things, because the things within myself that gave me the most, this is me, this is Jax, this is who I am, this is what I can do, we're all lined up in this chart saying that, yes, Jax, that is who you are. That is how you're supposed to operate. That is what you're supposed to do. And if this is what the reason was for the time that I was born, that I understand why I waited in the womb for 3 days to be born, because this is exactly who I am. The only the only part about my chart that is a bit of a pain in the ass is the fact that I am to learn through adversity, that there is no easy street for Jax, that I am to prepare, that there's always something that's going to happen because I learn from relationships. And one of the gates that I have is the gate of conflict. And through conflict, I manifest and generate and create. I'm here to break down walls. I'm here to open doors. I'm here to help people move into the next part of their lives. And the third one is the root, and the root is the one where I can get very overwhelmed and feel at a loss with all the things that I have to do. And that route for me, it was interesting, for we really touched very little on that one, other than the fact that I'm just to take bite-sized pieces of things. Like, how do you eat an elephant? Is that one bite at a time? I am just to take what I can, do a small bit of it, feel good about it, and move on, and take bite-sized pieces of things and do what lights me up. If it takes 15 minutes, it takes 20 minutes, just do what I have to do and continue. And every little bit helps. I was buzzing from this reading. All it said to me was that I need to speak what I want and I need to be fearless about it. She told me I need to constantly be talking about what I want to people. And in the last week, I had made the decision that I wanted to work remotely so that I could actually spend my time up in Canada. And I was thinking that the best would be 2 weeks on, 2 weeks there, 6 weeks here. And that way I spend a good portion of my life up there, and I can go 2 weeks around my each son's birthday, and I can go around, that might include Mother's Day as well, depending on how the calendar works. And I can be around for holidays where there's no pressure on what day we do things. And it just opened up everything. And I started talking about it to people beforehand, and I was feeling very nervous about it because if I talk about things, then it could get around and cause problems or whatever. But this reading gave me that in order for me to manifest things, I need to use my voice to speak them. The next day, my manager told me that she wanted to have my evaluation for work. And there were some things with my job that I had trouble with. And they were small little things, but I had voiced what I needed and she bulldozed right over them and said, no, it was her way or the highway. And I had made known to another supervisor of mine that I've been open with him about how I have felt the entire time, that if she wanted to continue with her plan of having me around for as long as possible, that some things were going to have to change because I was no longer being put in a position where my voice had no volume and that I was unheard. This reading also cemented that for me, that I need to be heard, and I felt completely unheard. And no, no, thank you. I would look for a job somewhere else. We sat down, and she looks at me, and I said, "Well, I already know what's on there." I said, "In regards to my interpersonal skills, I'm kick ass, but in regards to my job, I have lots of room for improvement. I need to get into more of a routine. I need to have more attention to detail." And I looked at her and laughed at her and told her, I said, well, I basically no longer associate myself as having attention to detail because this new job has really challenged that. But at the same time, I have a high level of distractions at my job, which I have had a little bit of difficulty managing. And she is very open with me on that. She knows that my brain is like that, that I can be easily distracted. I have a lot of squirrels that I'd rather be doing than paying attention to detail at work. And there were three things that I needed to have cemented that I had to have on my job. And one of them was I need to do this payroll a certain way, and does it a different way. I find her way takes more time than mine, and she thinks that mine takes more time and extra work than hers. And we had I call it a Mexican standoff, that we basically came to agreement that I am doing it my way. And she made a joke that I gave up too soon. And I just laughed at her. I said, you can say whatever you want to say. I'm still doing it my way. So that was a win. But it felt good because it was a playful banter between two strong minded women who feel that their way is always right. And we both are that type of person. Next thing was that I wanted to be able to come early on payroll Mondays, but she also made it clear that I'm going to be, when I'm working from home, I'll have no distractions. And I have 4 hours to get my payroll in, and that is plenty of time to, no matter if I was gone for 2 weeks, to get the payroll in. So I reluctantly agreed on that. And I said that'll be tabled to another day and we'll see. And then I also asked, because my schedule is very flexible, if I can, when I have some time off, if I can work my schedule around and work extended hours. And she automatically gave that to me. And then she gave me something that I never asked for, that was to work from home, because there was a stall on her letting me work from home, and my being very distracted actually was how I am the type of person that everything works out for me, and I'm the type of person that sets myself up for success, because my brain being a scatterbrain gave me the permission from her that it would be best for me to work from home since I have less distractions from getting my work done. And she is very right about that, which is funny, because the thing that was causing me to make the mistakes is the actual answer that's giving me what I wanted. And then I looked right at her and I said, when I came home from Calgary this time, something happened to me that's never happened before, and that I was homesick. And I want to spend more time up in Canada. And she goes, well, there's no way to do that here because of IT. And I went, actually, there is no problem with IT. I've taken IT right to the top. And the issue is that it's a management's decision of whether or not it's deemed necessary. And so my plan is to make myself indispensable so that you will allow me to work 2 weeks up there. She looks at me and we discuss it back and forth, and that's the plan. And it was so freeing for me to tell her what I wanted. And I got everything that I wanted. Some of it was more of a playful struggle, but something shifted with her now, because unless it's just happening with this one time for a week. But it was almost like there was a peer and a respect given, because all I did was ask for what I wanted and stood for what I wanted and spoke from a position. There was nothing rude or anything like that, but I was able to give what I needed to give. And this knew that I need to speak what I'm going to speak into existence has really come in, but I have to be also be careful. And that's one of the things that also was said to me, was that how my aura impacts people, because the joy can be great too, but it can also burn like the sun can burn. But also with my strength too, I have to be gentle in my strength, because my strength can impact, and I had that also happen this week. But it has been, I have felt the shift all because of this one reading, and what it gave me. It gave me what is funny, because it gave me exactly what was told that I should stay away from, as validation from outside, but it just answered some questions to see that all these fun little magical things that make up me are really me, and that I can I can be Frank Sinatra in all my life and do it my way. Well, we have reached the end of our episode, my darlings, and I hope you got some permission to be yourself as well. If you want to explore human design, you can get your own birth chart. All you need is your birthday, your location of your birth, and the time. The time is most important, because a matter of hours can shift a reading. So it's very important that you know approximately what time you were born. You can go onto any website and plug that information in on a human design website and get your chart and start exploring it for yourself. If you want one of the top professionals to read it, your chart like I did, you can go to Nadia Quinn with 2 N's and explore what services she has to offer. You can also go to my website of crackthecursive.com, where you'll find my kick-ass cursive writing curriculum, as well as my Shift, Forthwith, and Loser merchandise. Each one of those has their own podcast episodes, so you can learn what magic is behind those t-shirt designs. And you can contact me on Facebook or Instagram. My email at justjaxpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for spending your time with me. Love you, Jax.